This is Storytelling with Puppets. And this time the story is called I Took My Frog to the Library. It's adapted from the book by Kimmel. To tell this one with puppets, you need to have a frog puppet. You also need a big elephant puppet. And then you need a few other animal puppets. I'm going to use a crocodile, a giraffe, and a hen. But you can substitute depending on what you have around and what you want to do with it. And this story also, the puppets really don't say anything, they don't make sounds, they just do things. So the story is carried along by the narrator, who narrates the whole way, which I'll do. So here's how it goes. I decided to go to the library. And when I went, I took, then you reach into your bag and surprise them with what animal is about to come up. I took my frog to the library. And my frog really liked the library. But when my frog met the librarian, and I like to use a person puppet with my librarian name tag on it. When my frog met the librarian, he jumped on his head and scared the librarian. So I took my frog home. Then I decided to visit the library again. And this time I took my hen. So one thing about this story, there's a little bit of puppet and prop management. I usually have to take the things that I'm going to use as props with my right hand. So this time I've got a book and an egg. Last time I had the librarian. Then meanwhile, I have to reach with my left hand and out of my bag, pull out the next puppet. So what I do, I slow down the telling, use very slow and deliberate words, and that gives me time and space to get my right hand props up there first. So I'll put the book on my lap and grab the egg, hopefully not letting the kids see it too well, and then put my other puppet on my hand. So it takes just a little bit of doing to do all that. It doesn't matter that they see you doing it, but you don't want to lose the flow of the story too much. So that's why speaking kind of slow and filling in a little bit with words like, instead of going straight from took my frog home, and then I took a hen to the library. It's more, I took my frog home. Then while I'm gathering props, then I decided to go to the library again. And if I've got them already, I bring out the hen. If I don't, if I'm still working on it, and this time I decided to bring a different animal. It gives me a little more time to set things up. Just that sort of playing around with words to make the story keep moving forward, but not too fast. And this time I brought my hen to the library. But my hen saw a book and sat down on it, and my hen laid an egg on the book. So I took my hen home. And then I decided to bring another animal to the library. And this time I brought my giraffe. But when my giraffe got to the library, every time she found someone reading a book, she would sneak behind them and peek over their shoulder. So I had to take my giraffe home. So a couple of things about that one. Having a child read a book with a giraffe sneaking up behind her, it's a little harder than I thought. It should be a simple thing, but I actually had to prop the book open first of all. So I just got a little cardboard box, and had to tape it to the inside so the book would stay open. Then I had to tape the pages together so they wouldn't flop around. Then I couldn't really balance it on my lap very well, so I had to put another book here, book there, so it would sit there. So it seems like a lot of trouble for one little scene, but not that simple once you figure it out. And like I said, there's probably an easier way to do it. This is just the way I figured it out. The other thing about that is you've got your girl reading the book and the giraffe sneaking up behind her, and that gives you a little chance to do this sort of hide and seek thing, where the girl looks behind and the giraffe disappears. She looks back up. And you could play that as long as you want to with the audience, but usually with a simple, slow story like this, I just do a couple misses, maybe one on this side, and then have them actually see each other. And that leads to the giraffe going home. So I took my giraffe home. Then I decided to take another animal to the library. And again, I'm stalling for time, but that saying that there's another animal coming just kind of gets the kids into that anticipation mode where they're looking at what I'm digging around in my puppet bag and wondering what's going to come up next. This time I took my crocodile to the library. But my crocodile loved books so much that he ate them up. So of course, I had to take my crocodile home. In the book, there's really not a crocodile. There's actually it's a pelican who swallows books, which is kind of cool. And I have a pelican puppet, but it doesn't have a mouth that opens. So I decided to use another big mouth puppet I have, which is the crocodile, but anything can be substituted. And with this book, you can also substitute things that aren't in the book. Like I thought about doing a lion and having the lion be too loud for the library or something like that. So it's just, even if you don't have exactly what matches the story, in the book they're really neatly chosen animals, but if you don't have those, just think of something that an animal could do in the library that's crazy and would get them sent home. And to me that'll work fine. So anyway, I sent my crocodile home. And then I brought my elephant to the library. Now my elephant is very well behaved. She carries her library books very carefully. She never forgets to bring her library card. And she loves to do all the songs we do in story time. She especially likes this part. If you're happy and you know it, stomp your feet, stomp, stomp. But my elephant is big. She's so big. She is so very big that when she walks down between the aisles of books, she knocks over the shelves. And when she walks past kids reading or playing, she knocks over the kids. So finally, the librarian came to me and told me that I am always welcome to visit the library, but I would have to leave my animals at home from now on. So now, when I visit the library, my frog stays at home. And my hen stays at home. So now you're digging into your bag and getting back all the animals you put down before. If you can get them in order, that's great, but it doesn't really matter, as long as you end with the elephant. My crocodile stays at home. And while I'm at the library, my giraffe stays at home. And while they are all at home, and I am at the library, my elephant reads them all a book. And that's the end. So at the end there, you're kind of gathering them all facing, and then you have to pick up, it's easier for me at least, to pick up the book first, even though that doesn't quite make sense, and then bring out the elephant and have her reading the book to the animals. And that's a very satisfying ending that I think the kids, even really younger kids, get pretty well. So, that story is I Took My Frog to the Library. And it's adapted from the book by Kimmel, and it is one way that you can tell it with puppets.